Until Dawn is disappointing. And if you were someone with a lot of free time on your hands, you probably found yourself watching Markiplier's 6-hour plus gameplay because the plot was just so good and you were interested in seeing how the story would unfold. Until Dawn is an interactive horror game where the point is to survive the night and uncover the story. It's designed to be a playable horror movie. You control a group of 8 friends stuck on a snowy mountain retreat, and your choices throughout the game decides who lives, who dies, and how the story unfolds. It's a unique game because of the butterfly effect. Every decision, big or small, can drastically change the outcome. Something as simple as picking up a clue or choosing to run instead of hide could mean the difference between survival or death. There's multiple endings to where you can save all the characters, some of the characters, and even none of the characters, with the game being unique to each individual who plays it. Unfortunately, the movie had barely no correlation to the game besides a few Easter eggs and some of the monsters. To me, it just seemed like a way to get people to watch the movie when this movie could have been made in the same Until Dawn universe instead of just being Until Dawn. I feel like this movie defeats the whole point of the game entirely, and as I stated, could have just been its own movie. It's not bad in my opinion. I didn't suffer through watching it, but it sucks in a way that lets me down as an Until Dawn fan. So I'm going to go into detail and explain the plot of this movie, and if you agree with everything I say, please give me a thumbs up. The movie starts off with a girl climbing from underground while a supernatural being is in pursuit. As she makes it above ground, a guy in a clown mask wielding a pickaxe kills her as she begs to not want to die again. A year later, Melody's sister Clover with a group of her friends, Nina, Abe, Max, and Megan, are trying to track Melody down as she's been missing for some time. Clover goes into a convenience store and asks the clerk has he seen her, showing him a picture, in which he alludes to the fact that she has gone missing because Clover is not the first one to come into that store and ask about a loved one. He then points her to Galore Valley, a place where people have gone and never returned. As the group make their way in that direction, they are kind of panicking because it's raining really hard and they want the driver to turn around until suddenly the rain stops. They make it inside of a barrier of sorts, with it being completely dry on one side and raining on the other. There's a house that they go inside, noticing a few weird things like an hourglass and a bulletin board with a dozen of missing posters with no other information, including one with Melody. Clover walks inside the rain after seeing a glimpse of her sister before being pulled back by Max. While looking through a sign-in sheet, Nina notices Melody's name written down multiple times. The group comes to the conclusion that something weird is going on, but a noise causes them to peer outside, noticing Gabe's car is gone. Someone had taken control of it. Max, Clover, and Megan go downstairs to search while Nina and Gabe remain upstairs. Gabe goes to check out this noise, leaving Nina to walk in on him being sliced in half by the same clown guy. Max, after hearing Nina scream, witnesses the clown guy standing over Nina, and so the other three try to hide downstairs. Max tries to sneak up on Clownface, hitting him with a chair, getting a piece of it crammed right into his eye. Clownface then snatches a hiding Megan out of the closet, repeatedly banging her head on the floor, with Clover hiding behind a door witnessing it all, and then decides to help when it's far too late, stabbing him, which doesn't work. She's able to make it out the house, getting distracted when she sees her sister again. This allows Clownface to stab her, and then suddenly the group find themselves back alive, repeating the same steps as they did before. The second night, the friend group is disturbed at the fact that they remember dying, and all of their faces are now plastered on missing posters. I haven't stated this yet, but Megan has like psychic powers or sixth sense, and yeah, so she's always getting, I think that's why she's always getting the worst and gruesome endings. I'm gonna explain that later, but anyways, she said that she could feel that there was something else with them. The group is taken aback by the front door opening and shutting, and even when Abe locks the door, it continues to open, and so Max and Abe have to barricade the door. Megan suddenly becomes possessed and disappears. When they find her, she's in the bathroom levitating in the air, mimicking the voices of the previous victims of the house. The last thing she says is "don't let them in" before dropping to the floor dead. Despite that warning, almost immediately, Clover is gullible to the sound of her sister begging for help at the door, as the friends are trying to tell her not to let it in because obviously it seems kind of weird. She opens the door anyway, and there is nothing there. But there is a creepy house across the way way that was not there before, and an invisible force knocks Clover out of the house and drags her towards it, while the rest of the friend group watches helplessly. Max decides to go after Clover, while Nina and Abe decide that they should just go in the car and try to get help that way. Clover wakes up in the creepy house being surrounded by masks, and an old lady forces her death mask on Clover, causing her to become possessed. And when Max goes inside the house to look for her, she also kills him wearing one of the creepy masks. Nina and Abe try to drive away, being forced back after seeing this huge Demogorgon thing in the sky. Then they are both killed by a clown face. And then a Clover, who was still alive but possessed, is ran over by clown face as well, having them start the night all over again. The night starts over again, and the group barricades themselves in the bathroom, trying to find a way out of this hell. The group pass along a nice cold glass of sink water while trying to figure out what they could do to survive the night. I don't know, but I wouldn't have even thought about drinking that water. Anyways, the group is also noticing that they are changing physically into something inhumane. Gabe suddenly goes into a coughing fit that goes noticed by the rest of the group, and then he explodes like a firecracker. After realizing that it was the water that caused him to explode, Nina also explodes. And then Megan, who I said always has it the worst, first her legs explode, and then her stomach swells up like a big pregnant lady, and her stomach explodes, and she is still alive until after some gruesome seconds, her head explodes as well. Clover then tells Max that he should just kill her and then kill himself, knowing that they will come back, but Max chickens out last minute and he explodes, leaving Clover alive by herself. And then the man from the gas station comes and tells Clover that they cannot survive the night by simply staying still, and after telling her that, she dies. And the hourglass showed that they almost made it. Another night comes and the group discovers that the man from the gas station is actually Dr. Hill, who was the trauma specialist for victims of a mining accident. He had been conducting experiments on his victims, basically killing them over and over, and as the time went on, they would turn into something monstrous. They would turn into Wendigos, and this was all documented on tape recordings. Dr. Hill then comes on an intercom and tells them that the group can survive if one of them sacrificed themselves. Clover then agrees to meet alone with Dr. Hill, to the dismay of the group except for Abe. While walking outside by herself, Clover gets caught in a bear trap that drags her off into complete darkness. Max and Megan are the only two that goes after Clover. They are attacked by a Wendigo, and when running, Megan falls on glass, which leads her to fall underground with the Wendigo dragging her away. Max is able to find Clover, taking the bear trap off her foot and using it against the Wendigo, who is actually Melody, her sister. The two, after escaping from Melody, decides to take their own life to start the day over again. But the group had failed to realize that actually more days than they have thought had passed, and they are now on their 13th and final night. Abe, who had been documenting all of their deaths, they're able to get their memories back, seeing all the ways that they have died. And then they realize that Megan is missing. She lets them know in a video that she survived and is now following Dr. Hill underground to find his lair. The group, also tired of running and wanting to fight for their life, decide to go underground too as well to find Dr. Hill. While saving Nina from one of the Wendigo's attacks, they alert a dozen of them, and so they have to give chase. But just as they escape the Wendigos, Clownface come busting through. So the friend group decide to distract Clownface while Clover goes to find Dr. Hill by herself. When Melody tries to attack Clover, Clover is able to successfully kill her, impaling her on a stick that was implanted on the ground. She also finds Megan, who is being tied up while a Wendigo is trying desperately to get to her, its chains getting looser and looser. After finding Dr. Hill's lair, he then gives this cartoonish, villainous speech about what he's doing and blah blah blah, and turning around, giving Clover enough time to secretly taint his coffee with the water from a dripping pipe. After drinking the coffee, he discovers too late that it is tainted and he explodes. Clover is then able to save Megan in the nick of time, while the whole friend group is being chased endlessly by Wendigos, with only being seconds away from surviving the night. In the nick of time, they all make it above ground to see that it is now dawn, and the rain that was once barricading them inside had disappeared, showing that they have beat the curse. And so now they get in their car and leave. Yay! So that's not it, because the surveillance footage then changes to a different scenery, one of a snowy cabin. And that makes me think that maybe the second one, if there is a second one, is going to have more to do with the actual game. Yeah, this was very fast, and the movie wasn't really that interesting, I guess. Not to me. It was alright, but it's just not what I had expected. I don't know. I feel like them being able to survive multiple times was like defeating the purpose of Until Dawn, which, like I said, is based on a butterfly effect. So I just want to know, like, what do you guys think? Did you guys like this movie? Do you guys agree with some of the things I said? So yeah, this was just a quick little video, a quick little recap. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more.